My official predictions and breakdown for Max Holloway versus Yair Rodriguez. Now, this might be a crazy thing to say, but I'm going to say it right out the gate. I don't think that anybody in the division can knock out Max Holloway. He has fought the best, and nobody, not Conor McGregor, not Dustin Poirier, not Volkanovski, nobody's been able to knock out Max Holloway. I don't even think I've seen him dropped. Now, with that being said, if there was one man that could knock out Max Holloway, he's fighting him. It's Yair Rodriguez. Yair is so crafty. You want to talk about sick angles? You want to talk about mixing it up? You talk about difficult to prepare for? Yair Rodriguez is that guy. He has the potential to knock out Max Holloway, or anybody for that matter. The question is, will he? Just because he can doesn't mean he will. If someone's going to shock us in that fight, it's going to be Yair. You know, he can throw those crazy spinning back elbows. I mean, he'd be the guy to throw the Anderson Silva front kick. He's just wild, but it's a controlled chaos. Very difficult to deal with and prepare for. But when I go back to Max Holloway, he is the most technically sound striker. His defense is flawless. He refuses to be steered around in that cage. He will be the boss in this fight. And that's why I'm going with Max Holloway, because I think the volume of strikes is going to be very important in this fight. I believe that Max Holloway is going to go out and look to put a pace on Yair Rodriguez and not really allow him to set those traps that he likes to set for people. He's going to push a pace. He's going to have a high volume of strikes. And essentially that's going to make Yair have to simply fight back. And when you don't get to lead the dance, it's much more difficult to set up those angles and the things that you want to do and the traps. Max is just not the kind of guy to fall into traps. He's a black belt level in striking. And when he says he's the best boxer in the UFC, I second that. There are going to be some oh shit moments in this fight. It's going to be very exciting. I think Yair is going to present some unique challenges that only Yair Rodriguez can. I think he's going to bring some magic to this fight, but I don't think magic beats Max. I'm picking Max via decision. My official prediction and breakdown for Ben Rothwell versus Marcus de Lima. Now, this is an interesting matchup for a few reasons. One being these two men for the heavyweight division are massive. They are massive heavyweights. And when you typically talk about heavyweights, you're looking at strikers, right? Heavy hitters. But I consider both of these gentlemen to be primarily submission wrestlers. Now, I'd give de Lima the advantage in the athletics department. I think he's probably the better athlete. He's probably stronger and he's probably a little bit faster. And some people might say, oh, Rothwell's lost a step. But when I look at the skill set that Rothwell provides, he's training with Luis Claudio, who invented the go-go choke. And if you remember, he submitted Josh Barnett with that. He also has a submission over Matt Mitrione. He's just a dangerous man when it comes to those submissions. So I'm going to say it right now that if Marcus de Lima puts his head anywhere near Ben Rothwell's belly button, he's going to get choked out. So I'm picking a submission. I will leave the round up to you guys, but I think that as this fight tries to find its way to the ground, I think that Ben Rothwell will find that go-go choke and get the finish. Here is my official prediction and breakdown for Felicia Spencer versus Leah Letson. Let me start with Felicia Spencer. Now, although she's on a 3-fight losing streak, you might look at that and say, has she lost a step? No. Let's look at who she's faced. She lost the decision to Cris Cyborg. She lost a 5-round decision to Amanda Nunes. And she lost a split decision recently to Norma Dumont. I think lasting to a decision with Cris Cyborg and Amanda Nunes alone deserves a lot of credit. So I look at her and I say, this woman is incredibly durable and very strong. And she has a tenacity about her, right? She's just near impossible to put away. And when you look at Leah Letson, I see some similarities in that she's a big, strong girl, and when she gets on top on the ground, she makes a difference. She has some pretty nasty ground and pound. That would be where I would think she might want to try to put Felicia Spencer before Felicia Spencer puts her there. So this might be a battle of who can get to the dominant position on the ground and do the damage there. Because I think if you put Felicia Spencer there, she's not the most explosive athlete. She might have a little trouble getting up. But I think the same goes for Leah Letson. If she finds herself on the ground first, I think, this is Felicia's fight. Also, I have to talk about the fact that Leah Letson has been off for 3 years. Now, I'm not going to be the one to sit here and say the verdict is, with long layoffs, that you are going to come back for better or for worse. Obviously, my experience having a near 5-year layoff, feel like I came back stronger. But everyone is different, and ring rest affects some people and it doesn't affect other people. So there's questions there. So I can't confidently pick Leah Letson in this. I'm going with Felicia Spencer because I know more about Felicia Spencer. I know that she's so durable and hard to put away, and I think she has the grappling and wrestling advantage, and I think that's where this fight will come to a decision. I think that Felicia Spencer essentially will control more of the ground and will likely end up in a decision, possibly a TKO, but I think Leah Letson is tough enough to hang in there and move well enough on the ground that she may not get finished. So I think the safest bet for me is to pick Felicia Spencer via decision.